spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Brought to you by Lincoln Mercury. Nobody has more kinds of cars for more kinds of people. See them at the sign of the cat. By Goodyear, makers of the custom Steel Guard radial tire. And by State Farm Mutual. Almost anywhere you live, there's a State Farm agent nearby. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as the Funky Chicken. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. We are here on, only one of the last 3 football Sundays for the Dallas Cowboys, and sadly, our season is just about over. But don't forget about BetUS, because with BetUS, you can get 150% matching on your first 3 deposits of up to $2,000. And there's still time to get your bets in. My dad just called me a few ago to let me know that he's taking the Eagles and the over, the Cowboys and the under, and the Giants game with the over. You can join my dad too, betting on the Cowboys and with BetUS. So good people, we are here. It is game day. We've got a ways to go before we get to the Cowboys, of course, because they don't play until Sunday night. We're back in prime time. Thank God we're in prime time. But we have the early game here, the Washington Commanders versus the Philadelphia Eagles at 1 o'clock, and I will be here definitely watching every bit of it, and it's going to be interesting. The early games today, we have the New York Stinking Giants against the Atlanta Falcons. Kirk Cousins has been benched and about to be cut. The funny thing here I'm going to say about this, because they're saying, is Kirk Cousins the biggest free agent bust of all time? And I'm like, are you kidding me? It's not even close. I can think about Albert Haynesworth, or more recently, I can say Deshaun Watson. Because Deshaun Watson has been stinking up the place as bad, if not worse, than Kirk Cousins, and he's been on the roster for 3 years, and they still owe him $140 million. It's not even close. We have Arizona against the Carolina Panthers. We would definitely be rooting for the Carolina Panthers to take care of the Cardinals, because the Cardinals are another one of those teams that are ahead of us as well. And then we got the Bears going against the beat-up Detroit Lions. The Lions have had more injuries, and it worries me on what the Lions will be able to do going forward here, because they are getting beat up terribly. We got Tennessee versus Indianapolis in the who cares game. We got the Rams versus the New York Jets. Who cares? But we actually are rooting for the Jets. We would definitely need the Rams to hopefully take a loss right there. Of course, we talked about the Eagles versus Washington, and that's a key game. God, we need the Eagles to actually win to help our chances, as slim as they are. And it's very, very slim. It's really if you believe the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs, then buy some lottery tickets, because I think you got better odds on that one. We got the Cleveland Browns against the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay. Minnesota versus Seattle. We would want Minnesota to win to try and keep the AFC West down. And we've got, then at 4 o'clock, we got New England and Buffalo. Buffalo will cruise on that one. We've got another who cares game, of course, with the Raiders and Jacksonville. And then we have San Francisco, Miami, 2 teams, 6-8, that are both disappointed, much like the Dallas Cowboys. And here's the thing that's kind of crazy is we don't seem to remember this, when the offseason starts, that half the teams, Eddie, we're talking half of the teams that make the playoffs one year don't make it next. And we're looking at Cowboys, San Francisco, and Miami, 3 teams that everybody thought were going to be great that look like they're not going to make the playoffs. So, as always, that formula continues to work. And then, of course, we have our Dallas Cowboys tonight against Tampa Bay. Monday night, we got New Orleans and Green Bay. And we'd want New Orleans to lose. Not that they're behind us. So, I mean, as long as we win, then it doesn't really matter on that one. So that's where we are. But we got, oh, my God, the amount of injuries that we have sustained this year is crazy. And what we're finding out more of, this actually came out Friday, and I've been doing some more research on it and understanding what this leads to as well, is that Trevon Diggs has cartilage problems. Okay, now if you don't know what cartilage is, okay, you have your 2 knee bones that go together here, okay? If you look at an x-ray, when you look at the x-ray, you'll look and you'll see like a gap in between it. That is your 2 cartilage you have on the lower leg, the meniscus. The top one, you have your arterial. And those 2 basically are like almost like a hard plastic is what best way to describe it. And they are so the knee joint rides on there, okay? And then you have your ACL and your PCL and your MCL ligaments, which attach the bones to the muscles that are there. And then you have your patella tendon, which holds the kneecap in. The cartilage, again, is just like that cushion that goes on here. I had meniscus surgery on my right knee to smooth it out because sometimes it gets a little bit rough, and that's where you get it to lock in places here. Now, we don't know if it's the meniscus that he has a problem with or if it is the anterior cartilage. But he's getting a bone graft done, which is not good. That means there's more damage that can happen than can repair. Because here's the problem with cartilage. Cartilage, let me read something to you. The articular cartilage is a smooth, rubbery tissue that covers the end of the femur, the tibia, and patella. It allows the bones to move smoothly across without friction. The meniscus, as I talked about, is a tough, flexible tissue that sits between the femur and the tibia, cushioning the knee and distributing the weight across the body. Cartilage is connective tissue that acts as a shock absorber throughout the body. It does not have its own blood supply, and this is the problem. It doesn't heal itself because it can't, refresh itself. It can't heal naturally after the damage. If left untreated, knee cartilage injuries can lead to osteoarthritis and other degenerative disorders. And see, that's where I am with my knees. I literally, in my left knee, the cartilage is worn completely out. I have bone on bone, and it literally creates bone spurs that from time to time get wedged in there, and it'll lock up the knee. And it hurts a lot when I stand. If I stand for any length of time in the same spot, which is why I'm always moving, it just hurts and locks up. And I wonder if this is part of the problem that happened with Todd Gurley, because Todd Gurley's knee started getting arthritic, even though he was only like 26 or 27 years old, and it shortened his career. So what they do with this, when they said it's a bone graft, basically they're cutting out the damaged area in the cartilage, and they're taking bone, basically grinding up bone, maybe from your hip bone or sometimes from a cadaver, and they're injecting that in there to basically grow more cartilage. This is not good. And the healing time is longer. So now we're looking at and saying, when we have the optimism, of course, of Stephen Jones, that, he could be ready for training camp, with that they're always too optimistic when it comes to injuries. It always is. And it seems like knee injuries are our bugaboos. So the question becomes will Diggs be able to come back and be anywhere near where he was as an all-pro and a takeaway machine? I don't know. And this is one of those ones that we've heard, rumors, of course, or it's not really rumors. Okay, forget it. It's not rumors. People surmising that the Cowboys could move on. There is an out this off season that they could end up letting him go to save money, or they don't think it's going to be good. Now, the Cowboys, of course, supposedly have the best doctors that can let you know if it's going to heal or not, but those best doctors were the ones that said, yeah, go ahead and pay Michael Gallup, and his knee was never anywhere near the same. And I can dare say that Terrence Steele is still having the after effects of his knee injury, albeit he's great going straight ahead because he's a great run blocker, but not as good as a pass blocker, although he's been seeming to have gotten better as this season has gone on. So that's where we are with Diggs. That's definitely not what you want to hear. The injuries we've had have been just insane. Going into this game, again, as I go through and I tell you the scenarios, we need the 49ers to lose, we need the Cardinals to lose, we need Seattle and the Rams to lose, we need Washington to lose, and, of course, we got to win. We got to win. And I think there's a couple more in there that might need to lose to keep any playoff hopes alive. And, of course, we have to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And if the Cowboys, for me, this is a great measuring stick for the Dallas Cowboys, because we've looked and we've talked about, the Cowboys, they're playing great. They're doing wonderful things. Okay. All right. That sounds great if you're playing, the Giants, which are the worst team in football. Carolina, I'm not sure. See, here's the problem with Carolina. Carolina came close to beating Kansas City, and Carolina came close to beating the Eagles. So I don't know if Carolina is just they're not a bad team, they just don't know how to win, or if they've just got up for those games. So at the moment, I'm not sure what the Cowboys are. We know that they're beat up. We know that most of the guys playing right now, we didn't think were going to be playing. We just didn't. We didn't think that Chima Goto was going to be playing much. We didn't think that Brock Hoffman was going to be playing much on the offensive line. Okay, we thought for sure we'd have guys like Zach Martin out there and D-Law, and you can go down the list of Overshown and stuff, but we are literally playing with a lot of unknowns, which should be an advantage for us going forward in the future. And the reason I say that is this. We have young players that, in practice they look at and they say, okay, this guy's pretty good. We can put him in become a starter. Here's the real problem with the NFL today, and I think this is leads to all kinds of different problems, is you don't, because the NFL wants the 17 and now the 18-game seasons, where they've got the partners of the NFLPA, they don't mind saying, we don't care about how much practice you do. It's okay. You don't have to practice. Just give us the games. In which case, we see a lot more sloppy football, and we also see poor technique. And I think a direct correlation probably could go into some of the injuries, especially the soft tissue ones, because now you don't have the two-a-days where your body gets calloused and used to the rigors and stuff, that now you're going full tilt only on Sundays. And when you have young players, okay, if you got a guy who you drafted but he didn't really actually play much, and then you're looking at making him a starter the next year, you've got your OTAs and stuff, but your OTAs are non-contact. Then you have training camp where you're limited on how much you practice. You only have 14 padded practices. And in practice, you don't really go full tilt. You don't tackle guys to the ground. You're hitting pads. The only time you really get game speed is in preseason games and the regular season games. So the Cowboys having to dig deep into the roster is getting some experience, game time, and time to evaluate these players for next year and say, okay, this guy can't play. This guy, yeah, we can pencil him in as a backup next year, and our guy who maybe we look at and say could be a starter. And I could say a Brock Hoffman is an exact, case right there where you look and say Brock Hoffman has come on like gangbusters, and he reminds me of Kevin Gogan, the big nasty. And you say, okay, we're okay with him taking the place of Zach Martin. Or we can experiment with Cooper Beebe being a guard and Brock Hoffman as the center. But had Zach Martin stayed healthy, you wouldn't know that. So this is very, very beneficial. And I know people are like, I don't want to watch the Cowboys anymore. Well, this is a great measuring stick because you're playing against a team that's winning, 4-game win streak, and they are looking to try and make the playoffs. And if the Cowboys find a way to get a win there, you start feeling better about where they are. And I dare say then that ends up being the case of where you bring back Mike McCarthy. If the Cowboys play well and fall short, then you still feel good about the team because you say, well, we have so many missing pieces. If the Cowboys look like an embarrassment, then you start thinking about then we need to fire the coach. So this game is very, very key. And the biggest key in question will be is Micah Parsons, who has the flu bug, who is questionable. But without a doubt, you can say that Micah Parsons has become the de facto leader of this team and has truly evolved. I'm going to play, getting out of here, a little bit of Micah Parsons' interview last week.
Man, just keep putting it on tape. Keep giving it all. You know, we still not done yet. You know, and it's, you know, like my guy Shun said, don't let us win the next one. You know what I'm saying? I really like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's all it takes. We just got to handle our responsibilities. Just keep trying to stack a win. I look at it like we got a chance to really do something, but we got to handle our business first.
What's really been working for you, the NFL, in sacks and pressures since you've come back from your injury?
Man, for me, it's just being resilient and proving people wrong. You know, there was at one point they feel like when we came back we couldn't make a difference. And it's good to show people that we could be difference makers, we could turn things around. To me, it's all about, like, obviously it was a belief in myself, but I don't know. To me, you should never doubt a line, for real. And I carry that chip on me because, you know, I still feel like I'm still trying to prove myself in this league. I feel like I'll never lose that chip. Like, I'm hungry for so much more than just, you know, just being back. Like, to me, this is like hindsight.
And with Zimmer, he said, you talked about being hungry. He said you run up to him and run over to the call sheet and say, call this one, call that one. Mm-hmm. How often is that dialogue, and how much do you appreciate kind of him listening to your feedback?
I don't know if he listened too much. He's like, he's like, I got it, okay? What the like, he get a little mad, like, you know, but that's passion, bro. Like, I can't help it. Like, you know, I see the game for what it is. I understand how they protecting me. You know, if I feel like they're doing this, I feel like I'm at the point in my career where I feel like there can be an adjustment made and a play call could be made to, you know, run it away from me, you know. And that was a perfect example in that Scotch. I was like, man, they sliding hard. Like, I think they're going to ID me and they're going to slide to me whether I'm coming or not, you know. That's just the respect that I've gained so far. So, you know, he's been listening, so that's all that matters. But, you know, I definitely don't think it's too positive sometimes.
What's your relationship with? You talked about going to dinner with you.
Yeah.
Out here one time and
we
sit on the bus and review the game.
Yeah, we went to dinner. We talk every day. I definitely think he likes me back because I always make him smile. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Mike's just been through so much, and I just like the fact that I was like, listen, I said we met here for a reason, and I was like, you know, I can be your son too. I've been a son for many other coaches, but you know, accept me, like I can be that person that you could talk to. So he talks to me about all types of stuff. Like he says some crazy stuff. I'm not gonna say in public, but you know, we talk about all types of stuff. But that's how I know we got closer, and he embraces our relationship.
That's great news.
We went to D. Lincoln, and that was the first time I went to dinner. And he was like, "Put the card away." I said, "Okay." He said, "I got some money now." I was like, "You don't gotta tell me twice," you know. So he was like, "I'm not doing this for the money." He's like, "I'm good." And I believe him. He got them horses.
You gave some toys. Mikey, you gave some toys to kids yesterday.
Yeah.
Just the importance of why you do that each year.
Yeah, you know, to me, it's all about, as I stated since I've been here, it's about the community, the youth. I was a Boys and Girls Club, but to me, it's also about, you know, being in the hospital. It's so many dark days, right? And us people who have health and who have, you know, circumstance to wake up every day and get to walk outside. And meeting some kids to say, you know, they can't leave their room, they can't leave their confinement. It's like you're giving that person light. That reason is like, hey, I could keep going. You know, one of my people said they're gonna make me my friendship bracelet. We gave her a bracelet set, and I'm gonna have my bracelet here pretty soon, which I can't wait to have. So, you know, to me, it's all about like giving someone else your light. Like, we don't realize how blessed we are to just wake up and go to work. Like, even though we like, damn, I got work today sometimes, but those be the small blessings that I feel like we don't appreciate in life. Like,
You
and I
see
tell
how much
people all the
he's
time,
grown.
you got to touch with reality. Like, you don't realize how amazing your opportunity is, and you think it's so bad because you're not making the money you want to make, or you're not in a position you are yet. So, to me, those kids presenting an opportunity and giving them something that they usually wouldn't get is more than enough Christmas for me. I think, the importance of that is, like, Christmas is about giving. Like, God gave us life. God gave us this opportunity here on earth, and we need to keep giving. It's not about, like, receiving. So understanding the importance of giving and understanding our blessings and opportunities.
You have a few guys on this defensive line, Osa, Chauncey, Carl, that are due up to be free agents. They're making themselves a lot of money by playing well over the last few weeks. How happy for them in that instance, but also understanding that you can't keep them all around?
Oh, man. Understanding that, me, Chauncey, and Osis might be separated is devastating. Being here together for 4 years, building our relationship to where it's been, obviously it's devastating, but, you can't help but root for all of them. You want to see everyone get paid and everyone get the maximum of their value. So, I've been talking about, I was like, bro, we only got a couple games left to really show who we are. And I was like, I'm trying to make you a lot of money, bro. Like, just tap in.
There you
So
go.
we all really been locked in, and I've been telling them where the sacks are, where the one-on-one opportunities are, because I want to see these guys have more success and do things, because that's what brotherhood is. And then we can vacation somewhere in the offseason after they get paid, and it won't be nothing to them.
Do you feel like you can make more money in these last 3 weeks?
Nah, I think I'm pretty set. I'm pretty set.
What's that at what?
What? I don't think.
I think I'm pretty set. So, you see Micah Parsons. He's on the board trying to keep the team and stuff together. What they do, I don't know. We nobody knows, but we'll see. But here it is. 2.5 hours. We'll be live here following the Eagles versus the Commanders. We'll be doing an all-day stream. Don't know if my buddy Jet's going to be coming today. I hope so. Michael Anthony Fitness Reaction is here with us today, too. So we're going to have a fun time. And maybe we'll do a dual cam of Rio and Philly 500. So definitely come in and join us today. Peace.